Well, y'all, Time Magazine named Caitlyn Clark the Athlete of the Year, and she made some comments in her interview that Lord has driven white MAGA out of their minds. This is what she had to say at the event where they revealed the covers.
And even today, earlier today, Megyn Kelly, she was saying that you were apologizing for your white privilege and the fact that you wanted to uplift black female athletes and make sure that they were getting the shine, kind of like your pioneers were getting the shine that they deserved. And I just want to know how you feel or how you respond to some of those criticisms when you have to deal with something that it's really not your problem. Like, I feel like it's them looking in a mirror a little bit, but it still comes down on your shoulders.
I feel like I always have had really good perspective on everything that's kind of happened in my life, whether that's been good, whether that's been bad. And then obviously coming to the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career. But also, I grew up a fan of this league from a very young age. Like, my favorite player was Maya Moore. Like, I know what this league was about. And like I said, like, it's only been around 25 plus years. So I know there's been so many amazing black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important. And that's something I'm very aware of. And like I said, like, I try to just be real and authentic and, you know, share my truth. And I think that's very easy for me. Like, I'm very comfortable in my own skin. And that's kind of been how it is my entire life.
Yes. And you'll never be able to make everyone happy. And someone that knows that at the age of 22, like, let's go.
I mean, I think I have good perspective on that. And like I said in the article, which turned out amazing, I thought it was great. I said, I feel like one of my best skills is just blocking things out. Like, I don't really, the only opinions I really care about are the people that I love, my teammates, my coaches, the people inside of our locker room, the people that I see every single day, and I know have my best interest at heart too. So, I think my best skill is just blocking out the noise, and hopefully it continues to be, because, with the way things are going and where the WNBA is going, you want that attention and you embrace it. And that's what makes this so fun.
Yeah. I'm just so thankful that you are the leader. Like, you are the chosen one in the future of the sport because of the allyship, the truth, and the willingness to stand and say things if you have to. But I also think the nuance that you used in that article, and I hope everyone gets a chance to read it.
Well, y'all, the white folk done lost their mind. Charlie Kirk, you know, that white racist who leads Turning Point USA, this was a tweet that he posted. Y'all go ahead and show it. Caitlyn Clark is getting very bad advice. The whole country is rejecting wokeism and anti-white ideology. She has a chance to stay neutral and failed miserably. Her handlers saw this as a chance to, quote, keep woke alive, unquote. Too bad. She's an amazing athlete who totally missed on this one. Then, of course, you got this white woman, what's her name? Riley Gaines. Now, she done made a name for herself because she was in some swimming competition. She lost to a transgender athlete, but she came in 5th place. So it ain't like she's a winner at anything, but she's got like 1.4 million followers. And so they made her this superhero on the right. And so she's been commenting on everything left and right. And so, again, I don't understand. I mean, I don't know what she's actually done, what she's actually accomplished ever. So this is what this fool tweeted. Y'all go ahead and pull it up. No one was asking for Caitlyn Clark to position herself as a right-wing hero. All she needed to do was remain neutral. She's a phenom who inspires countless young girls to play and achieve. So I still have great admiration for her, but she missed the mark on this one. Columnist, author, podcast host Jemele Hill joins me right now. And Lord Jemele, these white folks are beside themselves. Let's just call it. They desperately wanted Caitlyn Clark to be the great white. First of all, let me pull it all together. They want her to be the great white, Christian, perfect, anti-black, woman loves a man, superhero. That's what they wanted. I mean, and so they are losing their mind because she showed respect to the black basketball players before her because they hate the WNBA, they hate the black lesbians, they hate the black people, they hate them because they take the stands. That's all this is about, and they are showing their real racist position.
Yeah, I mean, Roland, I'm so glad that you broke it down that way because we knew, most of us that have followed women's college basketball and follow Caitlyn Clark's career in particular, we saw some of the people forming behind Caitlyn Clark in formation. People she didn't ask to form behind her. So they essentially weaponized Caitlyn Clark's success. They weaponized her popularity. And they made her their avatar for everything they can't stand about black women. Let's just call it what it is. And when she didn't deliver that to them, they got mad. Just like they got mad when she liked the Taylor Swift post, social media post of Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala Harris. They lost their mind then. So we see the common theme here, Roland. Whenever Caitlyn Clark shows any level of appreciation or respect for black women, they hate her guts. And so their position could not be more clear and obvious, because I'm just laughing. Like, you know, y'all did all this talk when you thought she was your personal superhero, and now she's disappointed you because she said something that was so freaking obvious anybody could see it. It's like, yes, this league was built on the backs of black women who contributed. Need I remind people who started the WNBA, the core group they started it around? It was Cheryl Swoops, it was Lisa Leslie, and it was Rebecca Lobo. Two of those three are black women. And the history of the game is littered with black women who have made contributions. She said a long time ago, Caitlyn Clark did, that her favorite player ever was Maya Moore. So this is just so laughable and it's so predictable. And now Riley Gaines, who honestly, she needs to thank trans athletes, because if it wasn't for the trans swimmer she lost to, we wouldn't even know who she was.
At all.
And at all. Like, and Megyn Kelly, who I also heard has something to say about this. You know, hey, I'm sorry that she doesn't hate black people the way that y'all wish that she did.
I mean, look at this. Some of the people were hitting her. Y'all, go to my iPad. Wow, so disappointing you came into the made-up fantasy world of delusional left. I was such a big fan of you. Not because you're white, because you're amazingly talented. Fool, it's a whole bunch of other white women in the WNBA who can ball. And then goes, unfortunately, your ego and attitude is starting to stink more than your skills shine. You had a huge platform to bring people together. Instead, you're choosing to push people apart. There's some other dumbass. CC, have you not learned 76 million people just voted no on woke and yes for Trump? You caved. You blew it. Somebody else. Nope, no longer supporting you. You caved. What's wrong with your teammates threatening you? How sad. I was about to buy a jersey for my daughter. Hell no. I'm back to the shadows for the WNBA. She really betrayed her whole fan base. WTF. At least we know she's in it for the money now. Nice Time magazine, though, I guess. All the people who defended you for how bad you were treated have now been betrayed by you. Such a disappointment. Just go ahead and say, we are some racist crackers.
I mean, they literally told on themselves, Roland, because the comment that you just read a moment ago, the person who tweeted that or whatever social media post they put that in, they said that we thought you brought people together. Again, all those people who are complaining and who are now anti-Caitlyn Clark, why are you so mad that she actually showed respect for the women that were before who happened to be black? Don't you think you need to be asking yourself, what is it about black women that's so bothersome to me that the idea of someone else being respectful of their contributions is so off-putting that I would sit up here and be upset and mad about it to the point where I won't buy my little girl a jersey? Like, your little girl can't idolize someone who respects other races and other cultures? I thought that's what y'all wanted. Y'all said that y'all want unifying, y'all want a unifier. Y'all want somebody that brings people together. Well, part of being brought together is being able to appreciate, respect, and understand other cultures. And, I thought the Time magazine piece, I think what they also hated, Roland, on top of her showing respect to black women, is the fact that she debunked a lot of the narratives that they let run around in their head for the last year about this woman. You know, this idea, they were the ones that ran with this idea that Caitlyn Clark was being targeted by these big, bad black lesbians and black female basketball players. And she said very plainly in this piece, she never felt targeted. And all of those kind of silly ideas they had running around in their mind that she was somehow being bullied and discriminated against by these black women. And that wasn't the case at all. In fact, it's black women quoted in the piece talking about what a great teammate she was and, you know, how they, you know, tried to help her transition into the WNBA and all these things. So it's just not even the fact that she is showing some kind of respect for these other players in the league and the players that came before. It's also the fact that they have nothing that they can use to hate on the league that most of them weren't even a fan of, or players they weren't a fan of. They just like the idea of being able to rub Caitlyn Clark's success and her popularity in the faces of black women that they couldn't stand to begin with.
Here was a tweet from a super white woman, Megyn Kelly. The one who actually said that Santa was white and blackface was cool. Look at this. She's on the knee, all but apologizing for being white and getting attention. The self-flagellation. The, oh, please pay attention to the black players who are really the ones you want to celebrate. Condescending, fake, transparent, sad. No. You're fake, Megyn, because you failed at NBC because the public saw you as nothing but being a lousy right-wing hack. That's why you couldn't cut it at NBC, and it was stupid to pay you all that money, and they gave you $69 million to leave. And so you suck, Megyn Kelly. And so you're showing us exactly who you are. You're showing us that your white cape matches your white hood. That's all this is. And so they are so angry because she's talking about the history of the game. You cannot talk about the history of women's basketball and not talk about the great black ball players. She's just stating a fact.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. It was just all facts. And, you know, the other thing, too, Roland, and Caitlyn Clark actually said this in the timepiece, is how insulted she felt by a lot of the narratives that people created about her. And now all of a sudden you have people on the right, like Megyn Kelly, like Riley Gaines, like I saw Ben Shapiro. He, of course, had stupid things to say because that's what he does. Now they're all trying to act like she was somehow bullied and pressured into making these comments. So not only are they upset that she has showed a level of respect and knowledge of the game of women's basketball, they have played Caitlyn Clark like she's some mindless puppet that can't think for herself. If you know even a little bit about the game, as you said, there are so many black shoulders the game has been built upon. And that's not to say that there hasn't been some tremendous, iconic white players in the league. Diana Taurasi is one, for example. Breanna Stewart. I mean, there's, Ann Myers. I mean, there's a ton of white players that have contributed to the game of women's basketball, but a great many of them have also been black. And that's all she was saying. And so as a lot of us in sports called out, especially a lot of us black journalists, we called this out a long time ago. You know, we said that basically we see what you all are doing. You're using Caitlyn Clark to get your racist takes off. And now that you find out that she doesn't support that nonsense. Now you upset and you mad at her and you want to call her weak-minded and you want to say that she's being pressured and bullied and she's going woke and all these other euphemisms for the fact that you just a racist and she just exposed you even more. Simple as that. Jemele, we appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. Anytime. Appreciate it, bro. Let me go to my panel, y'all. Of course, Lauren Victoria Burke joins us right now. We got Joy Cheney. We got Dr. Greg Carr. Let's get right into it. Lauren, this tweet here pretty much sums up what Jemele was just saying. The person says, I hate Caitlyn Clark now because it turns out she's not a racist piece of shit like me, as I assumed she was, and that is so disappointing. She's canceled. 80 to 90% of conservative America right now. Cry more, you cons. That's all they are.
Yeah, the entire thing is kind of a racial Rorschach test in terms of people applying the thoughts that are in their head onto someone else. I mean, every time any of this has come up with Caitlyn Clark, it's because some journalist has asked her about it, or somehow it's brought up by some sort of outside force. But what it all really boils down to is that there's a lot of people out there that want this discussion because of the commerce of content. I think the media wants this discussion. I don't know that Caitlyn Clark ever really wanted this discussion, but now they have it, and now they're not getting the answer that they want. It is really sort of built on this idea that she was supposed to be certainly the idea that she was, the best player. They wanted her to be the best player in women's basketball and superior to all others and all of that. And then that didn't happen. She loses the national championship, but then she comes back into the professional women's basketball league and does really well. But the thing that's so funny about it is that it sort of reminds me of so many things. Anytime you have a white person who champions or platforms Black people in this way, they often are sort of called crazy. So she must be confused, or her handlers. I mean, the Charlie Kirk thing is particularly revealing, although he's an idiot, so you can't really read too deeply into anything that he says. But the idea that somehow there's something wrong with her or her handlers, like they sat down that night before and made this decision to make these statements, because of course Charlie Kirk, being a racist, who is completely obsessed on the subject matter, thinks that everybody else is obsessed with the subject matter, and they're not. She's just speaking as another human being. So it is fascinating to see the sort of Rorschach test quality of this moment, and it is quite satisfying, I have to say. It really is.
I mean, these people, here's the deal, Joy. We always knew who they were. We always knew. And all they're doing is, as Jemele said, they're just telling on themselves.
Right.
That's right. I mean, this is what we always know. And, I talk gender. And part of this is about wanting women to fight, wanting women to be angry with each other, wanting to pit heterosexual women against lesbian women, trans women against cis women, Black women against white women, anything. And if it was two white women, they'd come up with something for them to fight about. This is race. This is gender. This is everything we saw in the election. It's better if they keep us at each other's throat. And what Caitlyn said was, no mas, I'm not doing this. I'm not fighting with Taylor Swift. I'm not fighting against Kamala Harris. I'm not fighting against other Black women in the league. She still also owned her own greatness, too, right? She said, I earned everything I got, but I can still acknowledge and celebrate the success of other women because I do it on their shoulders. Good for her. I have always liked her. I like her even more now. And it's a reminder for us, too, never to fall privy and prey to their efforts to divide us. That's what it's about. And the people that are posting they're trolls and they're just angry because Caitlyn showed them up.
I'm just laughing at them, Greg. And I always say this here. I always appreciate when a racist shows me exactly who they are.
I agree. I'd laugh at them if it wasn't so boring. There's never been a time when we, whoever the hell that is, were united. So the idea of attempts to dividing us, that's just ahistorical. And let's be very clear. She is an avatar. She is a representative. And there's nothing she can do about that. She's made some statements that are important to make because it's like saying, oh, the sun is in the sky. Yeah. And people say, yes. Everybody calm down. Let me be very clear. Sports is a proxy for war. OK, and there's one team in a war of white supremacy. It's whiteness. You put the verses there, and it's everybody, not Detroit versus everybody, with all due respect to our sister Jemele Hill, but whiteness versus everybody. Let's be very clear. I've been following the women's game since my girl was a forward for Tennessee State's Tiger Gems. Oh, by the way, parenthetically, HBCUs have a history, women's teams, of not being lady anything else. Tiger Gems, Tiger Bells, Tiger Sharps, they have their own identity. You won't find that in white teams in college. But my point is this. I'm old enough to remember the American Basketball League. That's the league that was partially owned by the players that David Stern and his friends put out of business by creating the WNBA at a loss for years because they didn't want any type of formation that would put them out of business. This is a race war. Caitlyn Clark is an avatar. And this has always been the case. This is Texas Western versus University of Kentucky. This is Bird and Magic that revived the NBA. This is Tiger Woods versus everybody. At the end of the day, you got to make a choice. Okay? And my question is very simple. When are we going to be more sophisticated about this and make these people stop playing in our faces? Bill Belichick then signed for the University of North Carolina because he's taken the NFL to the college ranks where it already is, and he's not even trying to pretend about it. These aren't student athletes. They're employees. Caitlyn Clark is an employee. And guess who's not going to stand against her? Sports Illustrated, the WNBA. Who's not going to stand against those white nationalists? All those people who are looking to profit from those white nationalists who will say, okay, that was great, she said that, but let's be clear. We've never been on the side of black women, and that includes black queer women. We've never been on the side of black people, and we will never be on the side of black people. And once they figure out what she said will test against their market value, they may ask her to go in. We all agree, but could you be a little quiet? Because we want those racists coming to our games. At some point, can we just stop playing like we don't understand what this is?
Well, we know exactly what it is. And Megyn Kelly can just go to hell. She really can. She really can. She shows on a daily basis how trash she really, really is. But then again, we've always known that.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free to download, free to use, next generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you helped build Fanbase. And we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.